Let's make homemade Egyptian falafel with all the fixins today. First, start with a pound of fava beans. Ideally, they should be yellow split fava beans, but if you don't have access to those, it's no big deal. If you soak them about 8 hours, you can easily split them and peel them. Make sure you soak them in enough water to cover the beans by at least 1 inch. Add a teaspoon of baking soda in them so that the peels come off easily and reduces gas problems later. Also, soak them 24 hours, changing the water every 3 to 4 hours. This is how the yellow split fava beans should look. Throw in a couple of onions, a half cup of parsley, cilantro, several cloves of garlic, and dill, and puree it all in a food processor. Also use a food mill if you have one to get it super fine. This is what it looks like before draining a bit. I like to get it a little bit drier, so I'm going to drain it for a few hours and get some of that water off. Once it's drained a bit, the mixture will be a little bit more crumbly, as you see here. Now add some more baking soda just before frying it up. This will make the falafel nice and puffy. There's a few ways that we can shape our falafel for frying. You can just shape it by hand, which is the traditional way and the way my mom taught me, into nice little patties. You're going to dip these patties into sesame seeds to coat both sides. You can also use this falafel scoop, which you can get on Amazon. The link is in the description below. And this makes it super easy to get nice, consistent sized pieces and shapes. And then you can drop it into the sesame seeds again and coat both sides. So that's another way of getting your falafel patties shaped. Start dropping them into the hot oil that's been heated up to about 365 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'll show you another way that you can make these falafel patties. So probably the easiest way is to use the falafel scoop and drop the patties straight into the oil, but this way you are skipping the sesame seed coating, which is a little bit more traditional. Either way, fry them up for about 3 minutes on each side until they're a very deep golden brown. 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Looking very nice. The draining and the milling really worked very nicely.
Should I take a bite of one, or you want to break one open?
But it's super hot right now.
Okay, so we'll wait.
Ready? Yeah. So let's move on to the next thing, whole wheat pita. If you prefer an all white pita, which is ice chamois, that's fine. Just use all white flour. But in this case, I'm substituting 1/4 of the white flour with whole wheat flour, and I'm going to roll out the dough later in wheat bran that's been ground up into a fine flour. I'm going to divide this dough into 8 pieces and ball them up and then put them in the fridge for 6 hours to rest before the final shaping. I've got my oven and my pizza stone heating up, and now I'm just going to lightly dust my board with some ground wheat bran. I'm going to roll it on both sides and make sure that each side is dusted enough so that it's not sticking to the board. And I'm going to roll it out pretty thin, turning every few rolls to make sure I maintain the round shape of the pita. Then I'm going to transfer it to my pizza peel, which has been slightly dusted with wheat bran also. I'm going to put 2 loaves at a time onto my pizza stone and bake them for about 3 minutes on each side. On to the last part, the tahina. So I'm going to start with sesame seed paste, garlic, olive oil, salt, some water, and some lemon. This is a frozen lemon cube. And I'm going to whisk, whisk, whisk until I get a smooth consistency. You can make yours thinner than mine or thicker than mine. I kind of like mine in between a thin soupy mixture and a thick paste. Add a little bit more water as needed to smooth out the tahina. And now we're all set to serve. I have some pickled turnips that I pickled a while ago. I'm going to put a little bit of salad, a few falafel, and drizzle the whole thing on top with tahina. Add more or less as you like. Add some extra pickles inside the sandwich if you like as well. And voila.
Beautiful.